what I'm gonna be reading this next week is ACOTAR and the whole series. I'm obsessed already. I'm only 80 pages in, and the atmosphere that Sarah J. Maas is creating is just so beautiful. Like, I can picture it in my head so vividly. And also I've seen a lot of character art, so that probably helps me a lot too, like visualize kind of what I'm looking at and the characters and how they dress and kind of what the world would look like. But there was this one line, and I put a tab on it. Alice strolled over to the remnants of the curtains and threw them open, revealing a sky that was still a deep periwinkle splashed with hues of pumpkin and magenta from the rising dawn. I don't know why that like hit me, but it just hit me in like this like, oh wow, like it is that beautiful. Like orange, magenta sunset. Like she's looking over, and like the descriptions of the flowers and the gardens. I'm like literally just in the very beginning of this series, and I'm already obsessed with it. So I'm gonna be probably plowing through this series, and I know I really want to drag it out, but I don't think I can. I think it's just gonna have to flow, and then maybe I'll have to like go back and read it, you know, later in life or in a couple months, depending on how much I love it. Okay, coffee time, let's go. I'm gonna take it to go. Yes, my cats get on the counter. Yes, it irritates me. Do I do anything about it? No. Should I? Yes, because I'm gonna regret it one day. Where I live, they have the butter pecan Dunkin', like you can buy it at the store, and it's like perfectly made. Because here's the thing, is like whenever I go to Dunkin', it can be like very hit or miss. Like I can order this exactly and it can be different every single time. So when I buy it at the store, it's always perfect, always delicious, and so much cheaper than going to the store. Okay, I'm all ready to go. So exciting. My like tripod is just like, I had it up because I was making a TikTok, and I just don't feel like putting it down right now before I go shower. But I've been reading outside. I got to like page 150 of A Court of Thorns and Roses, and it's going really well. I'm just so enjoying it. So I'm gonna shower and eat my dinner, and then I'm going to like create a ACOTAR ambiance. I'm gonna put on like my ambiance in the background on my laptop, and then I'm gonna listen to this ACOTAR playlist that I found in my headphones, and it's just gonna be amazing. So I'm very excited because I kind of want to read the whole thing tonight so that I can start A Court of Mist and Fury tomorrow. So it's kind of a hefty job because I think it's almost like 250 pages, so it's quite a lot. And it's like 6:30 right now, so we'll see. Fingers crossed that actually happens tonight, but I think if I hit kind of like a peak in the story, I'll definitely be able to do it. But if the rumors are true and Sarah J. Maas books don't get crazy until the very end, I might start to get bored, like, because it's just so much to read at once if it's not like super interesting, like super engaging. But we'll see. It's been super engaging so far, so I'm just loving it. I just hope I'm not like throwing away my first experience reading it, and I hope I'm doing it correctly. But so I don't know if I want to annotate. I am doing tabs, but I don't know if I want to write in it yet, but I think I maybe should, because that would be like my first time reading it, my first thoughts about the characters before like I know everything about them and before I like know what happens. So it might be fun to kind of like annotate it while I don't really know what's gonna happen on like all like my natural instincts or my natural like reactions. That's what I should say, my natural reactions to everything that goes on. So maybe I will start writing in it and underlining it and like really annotating it. Okay, I'm gonna go do all that and then do my ambiance. Okay, here's the ambiance I'm using. It's definitely, the title says it's from A Court of Mist and Fury. It's kind of like from, it's a Night in Valeris, which I know is not even from this book, but I love the music. Like the whole thing is just so cute, and I'm not gonna listen to music right now, not yet. So while I'm not listening to music, I kind of want to have this as a background because I just like the sound. which actually took me way longer than I expected. So if you can tell, there's no tabs for the first like 50 pages. And then I start tabbing more, and then when characters start charactering, then I start tabbing. I'm actually okay with the tab colors I picked out. I thought I was gonna hate them, but the red and the light pink and the yellow is pretty. I think I'm not gonna use yellow in this book, but oh, my edition is floppy. This edition is not floppy, but this one's floppy. So, on to the next. I know this is a fan favorite, this is the best one, and it better do what it's supposed to do, because I have nothing to do today and I'm just gonna read this book. It just better be the best thing I've ever read, because I am so excited. I stayed up till like 2 a.m. reading this because I had to finish it. Because of me I'm like scrolling down. Because of me being on Book Talk for all these years, the last like couple years, I like know who she ends up with, just because it's like pretty much common knowledge if you come across any kind of fan art or anything that has to do with A Court of Thorns and Roses. And so it's kind of unbearable to read the first book when you know who she ends up with, just because things change. And whatever, screw it, I'll just put spoiler in the title. So here are my tab colors. I have the perfect color. Tell me that's not the most perfect color you've ever seen to match. That top color? Like, are you kidding me? That's the exact same color. What? Okay, so I'm using that color. For sure, that'd be like my staple color, you know what I'm saying? You know how you have like a staple color? That would be it. See, here's the thing with me, is I don't know how to pick tab colors. What do we think? I don't like that last one, too blue. This is the colors that I'm gonna do. Here's the thing with my tabs, is like, they run out so quickly, and I know I'm probably gonna be tabbing a lot, and this is a pretty big book. Yeah, we're up to like 500 pages. Yeah, 600 pages. So I don't really want to like run out. I want to have my colors even throughout the whole, so I gotta start out with enough. And some of these colors are like replaceable, like the light green I can replace, the dark color I can replace. This one I don't have a replacement for, but here we go. I'm gonna go outside and drink my coffee. A Court of Mist and Fury is going extremely well. I just cannot, like, I'm literally underlining everything, putting a tab on everything, because everything is just so amazing. And I'm only like 60 pages in, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish it in the next couple days. I think it's gonna take me like 2 or 3 days, because I am annotating it so much that I'm constantly having to stop and do something with it. Reading time part. Oh my god, this chair. It's chaos, it's chaos. Reading part 2. My hair is a mess. Just pretend it's not happening. I need my pen, because Lord knows I write something on every page. God, this book is good. I've never had such a great reading experience in my whole life. Okay, but I just now saw a TikTok that was talking about this book, and it was talking about how it said, when you've been persevering through the slow burn, and then you get to chapter 48 where they are at an inn and there's only one bed and they have to share it. And I was like, okay, chapter 48, that can't be that far off. Yeah, it is. I'm only at chapter 15. Ugh, I'm gonna be slow burning this entire book. If you people told me that this is the best book and it's a slow burn the entire time until chapter 48, I think I will cry. I don't think I can handle any more of them not being together. I just took enough of Tamlin. I'm definitely giving away spoilers. I don't even care. This is gonna be a spoiler vlog, because screw Tamlin. I hate him, I hate him, I hate him, I hate him, I hate him. Can I just like fuse it to my soul? Can I go into this book? Oh my gosh. Can I go in? Can I be there? Can I find myself a hot, fairy man and live here? Is that too much to ask? Okay, ignore my hair because it is I just went on a run, so it's just doing its thing. And I have my sandwich. A Court of Mist and Fury has completely overtaken my life. I can't vlog. I can't sleep. I can eat. I can't do anything else that I'm supposed to do. None of my responsibilities are happening. I'm supposed to be going to the grocery store. I worked out today, so actually I did one thing. I'm supposed to be doing so many things, and I'm not doing any of them. I'm not hanging out with anybody. I am just sitting upstairs in my reading room and reading this stupid book. And I don't know what I'm gonna do when it's over. Like, I don't understand, like, how these characters aren't real. I'm actually going through, like, a crisis because I am so obsessed with these books and these characters that I don't think I'm ever gonna go back to how I was before I read them. I just so the drama. But that was me with Magnolia Parks too. I was like, my life will never be the same. And it hasn't been the same. Ever since I read this book, my life has not been the same. Hello, good people. Here's where we're at. So, a little more than halfway. Well, 100 pages over halfway. It's like 390. I'm like rushing this so much because I'm loving it so much and I can't stop reading, but I'm gonna be so sad when it's over. Like, the heartbreak. I'm gonna have to move right on to A Court of Rings and Ruin. And it's just not gonna be enough. Like, this is everyone's favorite book out of all of them. So it's just going so fast. And look at all my tabs. Like, what's happening? I don't know what to say. All I know is that I'm going to be reading the rest of the night. I cannot wait to get to the scene where they're in a hotel or an inn. And I just having trouble coming to grips with reality that this is not real because I so badly want it to be. But, you know, it's okay. I'm just gonna keep on keeping on. I can't even talk because my brain is so full of these characters. They're like my besties. Oh my god, I've lost my mind. Hi guys, good morning. So officially I'm making this a spoiler video. I'm gonna be talking about things in A Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Rings and Ruin because I just feel like it's really hard to even talk about my feelings about the book without like giving spoilers. So, and I don't want like me to accidentally put a spoiler in and not be like a spoiler vlog and then, or a spoiler video and then people getting upset. Or just like ruining, maybe not even people getting upset, but just like accidentally ruining something for somebody in the book. That would really suck. So basically I'm almost done with A Court of Mist and Fury. I'm like 540 pages in. So I have like 60 pages left. So here's the thing, I just got to the part where we find out about, you've read it because you're reading a spoiler vlog, them being mates. For a second there, I like did not like Fea. I was like, Fea girl, what are you doing? Farah? I don't know, whatever, I'll just call her Farah. I just feel like was not it for a second there. She was like really going off the deep end with like her emotional state. I was reading this for like literally all day yesterday, like my whole day, like 12 hours I was reading this book. And it takes me so long because I annotate so much and I write in it so much. I'm like putting hearts and I'm like stopping to like have to like take a deep breath because it's so good. So anyways, basically I'm not sure how this is gonna end. I don't even have a prediction. I kind of may have looked ahead, you know, and taken a peek. And I did see something on TikTok that could have like been a spoiler about like what happens at the end of this book. But I have a feeling, because I only have 60 pages left, that they don't fight the war in this book. I'm sure that's the next one. Because I remember Haley Pham talking about how A Court of Wings and Ruin is her favorite because it has a lot more like of the strategy and war planning and politics. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. As long as they're together, then I'm excited for that book. I've done a pretty good job myself at staying away from spoilers on like TikTok and stuff, and it's so hard, especially like you get on ACOTAR TikTok, there's like a spoiler every single video. And so I like have struggled, not really, recently I've struggled because now I'm on ACOTAR TikTok. I see spoilers all the time. I used to never see them. So I just hope that the rest of the series doesn't get spoiled for me. I've kind of spoiled this for myself just by like looking ahead and looking up stuff because I like can't handle surprise. So if I feel stressed about the book, I will look up spoilers so I know what happens, so I know what to expect. But the part when like she like heals him and like protects him and like from the people that attack him, and she like takes him to the cave and she like all that, I was like, oh my god, like she's becoming a woman. I was so happy, and I relate to her so much in this book. So her like PTSD, you can say, is claustrophobia from being trapped, and she doesn't like to be trapped anywhere, and that is literally the reason why I have panic attacks, is because of confined spaces. Like I can't go in elevators, planes, and I feel like I relate to her in that so much because she's the exact same way. Like she starts to panic. I know a lot of my obsession, like my deep obsession, is because of how hyped it is and how much other people are obsessed with these books. All I'm saying is Tamlin better go away. He better go away. He better stop. Okay, well, because I can't think of anything right now, I'm going to run some errands really quick, and then I'm going to come back. I'm going to try to get Matt Rife tickets, and then I'm going to read this book and finish it. And then I will give my final thoughts on how I feel at the end and overall, more generally. I'll kind of like think before I talk. And then I will start A Court of Wings and Ruin. That's going to be my day. I do have plans this evening, so I don't know how much I'm going to get through of A Court of Wings and Ruin. But I have a feeling this is going to be a long video, so you're in for a long ACOTAR. Officially finished A Court of Mist and Fury, and this is currently what I have tabbed. Holy crap, I went through like 15 stacks of tabs, and these are my final thoughts. Okay, now that I finished it, this is an unbelievable 5-star, absolutely amazing. The ending was so good. And this is what I really appreciate about Sarah J. Maas, is she wraps up her books. She wrapped up ACOTAR, she wrapped up this one. You get a good ending, a good feeling. Like, even if everything isn't settled, like, say there's still conflict going on in this book. Obviously, they haven't gone to war yet. There's still conflict to be resolved between the evil king and I can't think of his name right now. So, obviously, there's still things that need to be, like, resolved. But where our hearts are concerned, I'm saying us as the readers, Farrah and Riesland, our hearts are with them, and she wrapped up their story for this book really nicely. I didn't end it freaking out, upset, on a cliffhanger. Like, I ended it feeling happy and ready for the next book. And I feel like she probably did that because there probably was a pretty big time gap between her books being published. So she probably couldn't leave her readers. I mean, she can leave her readers on a cliffhanger, but she probably didn't want to do that to us. So this is 5 out of 5, 100%. My favorite part definitely is once they become mated. Once Farrah finds out that they are mates, and Rhys literally confessing the fact that he knew all that time, that chapter is unbelievable. I think it's chapter 54, before it gets spicy on chapter 55, but he basically confesses, if you've read, obviously you've read it, you know what I'm talking about, that he's known all this time. He knew when they were under the mountain, and he was protecting her and keeping her safe, and he literally was letting her go to Tamlin. He knew they were together, and he was letting them go because he needed her to come to him in her own way, and I just can't. Like, that was so perfect. I was not expecting that at all, and maybe some people predicted that themselves when they read these books, but I did not predict that at all. And when he started talking and he was crying and he was just like showing her his soul, I was just blown away. And that got me for sure. And since that chapter, I have been emotional turmoil because I feel like how are these characters not real? How is this not real? I'm struggling with that concept right now, but this has now been engraved into my soul. So I'm excited to start A Court of Wings. I think that's just how I talk. A Court of Wings and Ruin. I'm excited to start it. Like, I'm ecstatic. I don't know if it'll be this level of ecstatic, but man, the slow burn in this, the found family, and the ending, just all of it. So unbelievable. So I'm ready to keep on reading, keep on going. Good morning. I literally haven't even washed my face yet, but I have drank coffee. It's really not even that early. I'm just like, was up late last night. Coffee. And the beginning of another book. Guys, this is so exciting. I mean, the reason why I'm even awake right now and trying to function is because of this book. I will be reading a lot of it, and possibly reading a lot of it today. So I have a few things that I have going on today. I'm so raspy, sorry. I have a few things going on, so I don't know for sure how much I'm gonna get through. Maybe like 150 pages. So I'm definitely not gonna finish it today or tomorrow. There's no way. I mean, it took me so long to finish A Court of Mist and Fury, so there's no way. This is even longer, so there's no way. These are my tab colors. Yes, so beautiful. I liked the tab colors I used for A Court of Mist and Fury, but I ended up having to switch it up towards the end because I ran out of the same colors, so it's not like completely universal, which kind of bothers me a little bit, but what can you do? Here we go.
Much further along,
right,
like in society, so they have these VR heads.
Hello. All right, people, here's the deal. I am about more than halfway. I'm like 450 pages, 410, so not quite so far, but like 410 pages into ACOTAR. Here's my thoughts so far. It's been amazing. Here's my tabs. It's been very political, very much about strategy and war, and I don't mind it. There's a little bit of a new flavor with some Nesta and Cassian, which I'm having a feeling that is something that happens in the next book, because they seem to have like a little spark, and just like the hints that Sarah has made about them asking about each other and how they act when the other one is in trouble and vice versa. So very cute. And I just got to the part where Tamlin shows up to the meeting with all the High Lords, and so I'm very excited to read and like find out what Tamlin wants and like why he's even at the meeting, and I'm just so excited. Like, it's gonna be so great because Tamlin is probably gonna be insane. Also, he shows up on his own, which just kills me, but seeing the Dawn Court and hearing about the Dawn Court is very cool, and I love all the characters from the other courts and just like hearing about what they were wearing and their attitude and how they were acting. It was just so cool. I loved all of the worlds colliding kind of part, and I'm just very excited to hear or find out kind of what happens with Elaine, just because she seems kind of like a wild card in all this, and I can't really tell like where she's gonna fall into play with all this. So that's great. I just am absolutely loving it. It's not going as quick as A Court of Mist and Fury, but I think it's just because it isn't heavy on the romance. It's way more heavy on the war and politics side, which I don't mind. Both are good in their own way. They're just different. And for me, reading a romance means I read quickly because I can't stop. Reading about war and this kind of things is interesting for me, but I don't have as much of a drive to read, so it just takes me a little bit longer because I'm just not reading quite at the volume, which ends up being good because it's just healthier for me not to read for 8 hours a day. It's healthier for me to just be able to read for like 3 or 4 hours, get through like 150 pages, and then put my book down and do something else in my life instead of just literally spending whole days reading. It's not healthy. I am just gonna keep on going. I'll update you guys probably when I finish. All right, peace out. Hi guys, update. So I'm about 100 pages, well, 80 pages from the end of Act War. The feelings are flowing. I just got to the point where they're about to start the battle, the final battle with Hybern. And there's just a lot of feelings, and Rhys just gave his speech to the inner circle before battle, and I was like on the verge of tears because it was just so sweet and heartwarming that just who he is. Like, the fact that he could even put on a mean exterior is insane to me, because he's like the most sweet and heartwarming character. Yeah, he wears such a like bad boy shell. It's going really well. I'm scared that people are gonna die and then I'm gonna be sad, so I had to stop reading, but I'm gonna probably finish it tomorrow and then I will give my final thoughts. Hello, so here's the deal. I finished and it was just amazing. 5 out of 5 for sure. These are my tabs. It's kind of obsessive. I pretty much tabbed everything that I liked, that like stuck out to me. So like if I read a line and then I kept reading and I kept thinking about the line that I just read, I would go back and tab it, or at least underline it, because I felt like if it stuck with me, then it was important enough to tab, or important things that happened, like important parts in the plot. But the ending was just heartbreaking. There was actually a part towards the end where I was actually crying, like sobbing, and I was sitting outside and I was kind of getting embarrassed. I was like, what if somebody hears me or sees me sobbing while I'm reading this book? But just the whole thing about their father coming to rescue them, and the battle itself, and just like the tense scenes in the battle, and the sacrifices that everyone was making for each other. It was just so beautiful. Okay, so up until the last like 100 pages, I would say that I liked The Court of Mist and Fury more, but the last 100 pages of this book I think has been my favorite so far that I've read of the series. Like, it was just so heart-wrenching. Like, yeah, all the romance with Farah and Rhys is just so beautiful, and I love the scene where he, you know, tells her about knowing he's her mate and whatever. So good, yes. But the last 100 pages of this was so well done, just from like a plot standpoint. Like, yeah, I could have probably predicted that somebody was going to come save them, but the amount of people that came to save them, and just like the camaraderie they had in like such a tragic situation, and like the found family just makes this so much better. It just makes it all worth it. If they didn't have the inner circle, this book wouldn't be so impactful, I think. But just, I think the reality is that us as humans reading these books, we want that. We want that camaraderie among friends and family, or like friends that are family. Everyone craves that, like more family, more love, more sacrifice. Like, we all want that. So I think when we read these books and we see these characters have that, it's just, there's such a longing, I feel like, in our hearts to have that, at least in my head. I just longed for that. And so I think that's what makes it so easy to read and so beautiful. So amazing. So now I'm going to move on to this little short buddy, Mr. 220 pages. So hopefully I like it. I don't know why I thought that this book was from somebody else's point of view. I don't know where I got that idea. I don't know why I thought that was literally from like a really mundane character's point of view, because I remember hearing that this book isn't that great and that we didn't need this book. So I kind of thought in my head, like, oh, it must be from some like perspective that isn't really important, but it's Farah and Rhys, so I don't know how it could be bad. Maybe it's just boring. Maybe nothing really happens because it is pretty short. I don't know. I'm excited to read it. Why not? I'm a fan. I think it'll be good. Let's get into this one. Okay, people. I've made the jump into A Court of Silver Flames. I was very nervous. This is actually, I'm filming this weeks after I filmed the last clip you just saw, because I've been putting off reading this for a while. There's something like sad about being close to finishing it. I like don't want to finish it, so I like was putting it off. So I'm about 150 pages in and loving it, of course. I'm obsessed. Since it's a spoiler video, I'm gonna just go at it with the spoilers. So Cassian and Nesta, this is their book, obviously. And I'm finding that I hate Nesta. Now, I know that's like a pretty common consensus starting at the beginning of this book. I think that's what Sarah is trying to do, is make you kind of hate her to kind of like round out the story, or round out her character development, if you want to say. But here's my issue with her. I understanding why she doesn't want to like be out in public, why she's isolating herself because of the trauma she's been through, and like I totally get it, like why she doesn't want to like make new friends. She doesn't want to develop new relationships because it feels like it could potentially be something that is used against her, right? Like that's what I'm kind of gathering as I'm reading, that she's just holding herself back because she feels like she needs to punish herself because of things that she didn't do right, and because she is just trying to self-destruct, right? What I don't get is her relationship with Farah. I don't understand why Nesta is upset with Farah and why she blames Farah. Farah didn't know when she killed the wolf in A Court of Thorns and Roses that this was all gonna lead into this and this and this, and Tamlin came and took her and it was against her will, so she got wrapped up in all of this without meaning to. It's not like she went through the wall and was like, I want to be in the Fae land, and then her sisters ended up getting kidnapped, and she did that on purpose. It wasn't like she was being stupid. Like, she literally was forced into this situation. She was dumb when she went under the mountain because she was looking for Reese, but she ended up freeing all those people. So I don't understand where Nesta in the storyline decides that she's gonna blame Farrah. But I don't know, I never hear anybody talk about it, maybe because it is considered a spoiler, but I've never understood Nesta and Farrah's beef. There is that. That is just my update so far. It's going okay. Hello. I swear I'm not wearing white concealer. I don't know like what is going on with the lighting, but it makes me look like I have weird things going on with my makeup. So here's the thing, as I realized while I was editing this video, it's a long one, that I didn't even talk about of A Court of Frost and Starlight. And I don't know why I never filmed a clip of me talking about that, because at the time I remember thinking that I had a lot of good things to say about it. So I'm gonna talk about that now, and I'm gonna talk about A Court of Silver Flames, which I did finish. And I never updated midway because I'll tell you why in a second. Okay, so here are my thoughts on A Court of Frost and Starlight. I don't know why this gets a lot of hate. I actually will probably read this again in the winter on its own. I feel like there wasn't a lot going on. Obviously, it's a novella, so it's just kind of like a little addition to the story. And when you go into a novella, don't expect a whole entire plot line. It is what it is. It's not gonna be an entire plot line. So I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought that it was really sweet that Sarah wrote this and added it to the series because it adds something. And especially when I went onto A Court of Silver Flames and read about their traditions or whatever, I felt like I had a lot more background of like what they do and like how it goes from this novella. And I like knew like the importance of the gifts and just how beautiful it is during this time for them. It's like their Christmas time. So I don't know why this gets so much hate. I was so upset because I went into it with like a bad, like not so great expectations and ended up just really liking it. I read it in a day. It was like a really sweet read. I even tabbed it because there was things about it that I liked. And it had Reese and Farrah, so it really couldn't miss. I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought it was sweet. It was just a little novella. Okay, now I'm gonna talk about this bad boy, Nesta and Cassian. This book is their story, and I think I talked a little bit about the last clip when I talked about this book, about like my negative feelings towards Nesta and just how I felt like she didn't really make a lot of sense. Some of the things that she was angry about really didn't make a lot of sense. Okay, so here's the thing, is that this book was slow for me. I know some people are going to rip me apart for saying that, some huge fans. I thought this was slow and I thought it was a little bit repetitive. So typical Sarah J. Maas style, the last 100 pages or last 150 pages were amazing and I was sobbing and crying the entire time. But the first 500 pages was a struggle. It took me literally a whole entire month to read because I did not want to pick it up. I also think that I took a break between ACOTAR and, I took a break between A Court of Frost and Starlight and this. So I think maybe that like kind of put me into a slump almost. Like I needed to go right into this book to kind of like keep the magic flowing. But I wanted to draw it out, so then I did that to myself. So you can see on my tabs, I didn't hate it. I actually liked Cassie and Nesta. I know a lot of people liked more smut that this book offers. I could have really done without it. I think the thing that I really enjoyed about Farrah and Riesland was the slow burn. You know, they had more of like a typical love story where they're like, start getting together and then they fall in love and blah, 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 blah. So it wasn't as much of a slow burn. I think that Cassian is like my favorite of the boys so far right now. So he did jump Riesland in the boyfriend area. So that's good because I did really like him. I thought he was so good to Nesta. I thought they like really complement each other and I felt like they had such good chemistry. And I felt like it was a hard character like to get to know because even as the reader, because it is third person, you aren't getting everything. So I just feel like it was a hard story to read. I don't know why. For me, it was. Personally, I was expecting more of a Farrah and Riesland situation, and obviously it's not going to be like that because it's a different book. The ending. Okay, I knew that Nessa's character development was going to be amazing, and it was unbelievable. Like by the end I was sobbing because they were just so cool. Like the friend group was just so amazing. You couldn't get better than that. It was almost like a newfound family, which, like, to have both found families, like, what? And I wasn't expecting them to be mates. I don't know why. I expected them to have like maybe a moment when the mating bond snapped into place. That was kind of my prediction, was like they were gonna be like maybe hooking up, and then they were gonna have like the mating bond was gonna snap, but it never happened. Apparently they'd already had the mating bond, was already there, and it never went into place. There was never like a moment like Farrah and Reese did. So that kind of confused me, because I was waiting for that like crazy moment when like they both realized and they were like, oh. So, but they both already knew, so it was like, oh, okay. So I had a few complaints about this book, but overall, being in this world again was so worth it. It was worth the 700 pages, and I just, like, there was times when I, like, hadn't picked it up all day, and I'd be, like, craving this, like, ooh, I want to, like, go read about that world. So I'm sad that it's over, and I'm sad that I don't have any more books to read, but I'm going to move on to A Throne of Glass. And there's going to be a reading vlog coming out for that series as I read that as well. So don't fret, there will be more. Well, I'm saying that to myself. Don't fret, there will be more, because I'm very excited to read Throne of Glass. I feel like that'll be more my style, more of what I want to read, because I don't know if I enjoyed more smut. I don't know if it really added anything for me. I felt like it was like maybe a few scenes were necessary, but not really as much as there was. So that's just my opinion. I understand a lot of people liked more smarts. I am going to end this vlog and upload it, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it, because it took me a long time to make and it was just like really fun. I felt like I had a lot of authentic feelings about like what I was reading and like as it came up, because I've never read the series before, and this is like a really good first experience reading it. I felt like I enjoyed every second. It was awesome, amazing. So on to Throne of Glass. Keep your eye out for that vlog. Catch you later.